Not only do you have to worry about your local police, the FBI, these IRS agents are coming, you might also have to worry about this agency of the government that's fully armed and dangerous. Welcome everyone to another video. Today we're going to be talking about an agency that's highly weaponized. But first, if you haven't subscribed, I appreciate it if you would. If there's a bell there, hit the bell. That way you get instant notification when my videos come out. Give me a like. Also, that I appreciate that. It helps with the algorithms. If you would comment, that helps my growing my channel to just the continued effort in building this channel. And also, if you would share this on your platform, wherever you're getting your social media, I appreciate you just copying the link and sending it off. Well, anyways, so we've all heard about the coming of the 87,000 IRS agents, and I don't think all of them will be armed. There are, I think, reports that says that there's they just purchased, I think in the first part of this year, almost $1 million worth of ammunition. And it was probably already brought to their attention that this bill is going to be brought forward and probably will pass. And so they were preparing for the ammunition. I don't think every agency or every individual is going to be weaponized.
Most people associate this kind of training with the FBI, Secret Service, but not the IRS.
I didn't even know the IRS had a criminal investigative unit before I started, so I think a lot of people would be surprised that IRS has criminal investigators.
These agents will probably be combing through everybody's individual bank statements and fine-tooth combing their returns and that, trying to dig up any kind of amount of money. And we all concerned about why are they throwing all this money off to the student loans, the other countries, and God knows where else they're throwing this money, border entry, people that are coming over here illegally. And it is illegal. I don't care what anybody says. You can't cross into this country. On a previous video, I shared that information. But anyways, so obviously we know the FBI is heavily militarized. I mean, we see the CIA, we see what other agency, even a post office, for God's sake, is armed. And I don't know, in your state where I'm at, if you are the Fish and Game and Wildlife Management, these guys are armed, try to anything. These guys don't have to have reasonable doubt or anything. If they see you without a license, if they see you in the woods on a day where it's not authorized to hunt any kind of animal, you are going to be arrested and charged and fined.
Okay, I'm Fish and Wildlife State Police. We do all the fishing regulations. Are you engaged in fishing, sir?
Yes, I had all my fishing gear out here, but they had my brother-in-law pack up and take all the stuff out.
Okay, so that kind of puts you in a little bit of a calamity then, doesn't it?
Well, I have it all on video that I have my fishing stuff here.
Okay, can I see it? See your video?
Well, yeah, I have it live. Am I able to leave this spot? Because they told me to stay here.
Take it with me, guys. Come on, let's go. You car out here?
Yeah, do I got to keep my hands up like this?
Man. We're just doing a fishing check. You said you're fishing, right?
Well, yeah, but they made me keep my hands up like this, and they made me take all my gear out after we set up to cast our lines and stuff. They literally took... It was my brother-in-law and my girlfriend that was here.
Around, or?
No, they made them leave over there. I don't even know where they took them.
They still around? Where are the other guys? Okay, let's your car over here?
Yeah, it's over there.
All right, let's go.
Do I got to walk like this still? Or can I have my hands down? Okay.
Another agency that is not authorized, that carries weapons, is the EPA. This isn't strictly a partisan issue, though Democratic administrations tend to allow the EPA to leverage their increased power with more leniency. In fact, the EPA has first allowed to exercise military-like power by Congress under Reagan. So any of these agencies, whether it's the FBI or the Postal Service or you name it, part of the government, they just do whatever they want. And who's ever in charge, whoever has their wills, their political views, dictate what direction they go to. We've seen all year long is these people come into the Congress and the judiciary type of branches, they come under subpoenas and that type. And the first thing they say is, I haven't seen that document. I'm not aware of that. It's not our policy, that type of thing. They use these terms to skirt their way around scrutiny at all times. So, they don't need to be under a supervision. They can do whatever they want. And when it comes to a point where somebody's asking questions or why are you doing that, they can say, hey, you know what? I didn't know, man. I didn't know. I mean, who's ever doing this? I don't have any control over them, which we all know that's passing the buck, and you take responsibility. If you're in charge of a department, you take full responsibility.
You are the assistant director of FBI Cyber. I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is. Where is it?
Sir, I don't know that answer.
In 2015, it was reported that the EPA was spending nearly $75 million per year to keep their 200 special armed agent kitted up with military-style weaponry, drones, amphibious assault vehicles, night vision gear, and other equipment. These guys are the EPA, and you know what's coming down the road. I'm a prophet when it comes to this stuff, right? So when they start moving in on this climate change, if all this, whether it's the farmers, whether it's individuals running whatever, if they're running propane or they're building lawnmowers. I don't care if a guy in his backyard is fixing lawnmowers up. In California just eliminated the sale of new vehicles of gasoline-powered vehicles in 2035 and beyond, right? So what if you're in your yard and you just purchased a used vehicle and you're going to soup it up? You want to go back to 1965 with it, right? I mean, next thing you know, you're going to have drones flying over your head and black helicopters and all this other things. And it has happened. Let me share with you a couple accounts. In 2015, residents of Chicken, Arkansas woke up to their town and local gold mine being swamped by armed officers in full battle armor, police jackets. They quickly learned that these men were from the EPA and they were being raided due to the allegations that the mine was potentially violating the Clean Water Act. So as you can see that if you're under suspicion, it doesn't matter. You could have some whistleblower say that you pissed somebody off, right? And they said, oh, okay, I'm going to call an agency. And next thing you know, some dude's showing up at your door, not one guy, a whole army full of, special agents, and you pay them, I don't know, $200,000 a year, right? That's not 75 million. You're buying ammunition. You could buy it for $1 million. You're sending these guys out with the full gear, night vision gear and everything else. Let me share you another example. The email was a query about information on the door of Larry Keller, who had sent a short email to the staff. Keller wanted to ask about the administration's inflammatory statements about the oil and gas industry, where he had said his enforcement goals were to crucify executives. Armed agents and local police showed up at Keller's door, refused to give him any business cards, and interrogated him about the intent of his email. There we go again. You interrogate. Your Fourth Amendment rights have been violated, right? You just asked a question. This guy, Keller, just asked a question. I think what happens is they're not inundated with this stuff. So one little thing would set these guys off, their egos, or whatever it is. In July 2021, armed and body armored agents showed up unannounced at the Lund Racing Auto Tune-Up Shop in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Other shops throughout the country were also raided and fined for failure to follow regulations so fickle and unclear that the Congress had to pass the RPM Act to protect competition vehicles from the EPA's wrath. This comes despite the fact that race cars are already exempt from the Clean Air Act. So you don't have to be, even the law states that, right? There's an act, the Clean Air. These competition vehicles were exempt from the Clean Air Act, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So every agency is armed. Now, they want your Second Amendment rights to be taken away because they don't want people to have bear arms. You know what's going to happen if somebody shows up to your door. One thing about having weaponry at your house legally is that when these guys show up, what are you going to do? Open fire on them? You're going to be killed for the next bill that will be passed, because you can't give ordinary citizens be shooting on government agents. So unless this is broken down by people that understand how all this works, whether you get people in Congress that understand how all these measures work, this is going to keep getting worse, and it's going to keep getting worse, and it keep getting worse. You can watch my video on Ruby Ridge. I go over that, and I react to what happened there 30 years ago. You can go under the cops beating the guy that was supposedly to be arrested, but they beat the crap out of him anyway. It just never ends. Every day, every minute, every day, there's more information that these authority figures they have no care about the individual. I mean, even though they're Americans, they want to take out their wrath on other people because what? They're bored? I don't know. So if you guys comment on this video, I appreciate it. What do you guys think? Do you think these agencies should have weaponry of this magnitude, armed, body armor, vehicles, drones, night vision gear, all this stuff? I mean, most of these things can be handled with just one guy knocking on the door and say, hey, I got some questions for you. Can you kindly answer my questions? That's about it. They don't need to be showing up at your door heavily armored. So I appreciate your comments. What do you guys think? Do you think this is appropriate for part of the government to do this? And if you would, please leave a like, comments, subscribe if you haven't done that already. I appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye now.
I'm on the run, I've got no alibi for what I've done. Took what you treasure, and I'm never gonna give